be covering, this is Blue Girls Video Podcast. I will be covering dreams from August 2018 and September 2018. And so the first one is cash. This young woman has a car that has been cut into a triangle-like shape, $300 in cash. Cypress Cove. Cypress Cove, the same girl in the entry, cash. She wants to know where she is at some guy says California. She seems to be closer to the border. She is in this house with some other people, mainly guys, and an older woman with long, brown, wavy hair. The backyard is filled with junk. I remember talking to my aunt. Okay, so the next dream is connected. Two important dreams. I am with a woman. We are traveling to a destination. Then I am alone, following an itinerary. At nighttime, I went to this building like a library, and caged animals were in a separate but connected room. I remember a large guinea pig. I recall seeing the outside of building as I leave. I see a hill with a path going in two different directions. Area not familiar. Okay, so the next dream is Tanzania. The second dream, I am standing in a long line of homeless-looking men wearing jackets. I am at the counter with a woman with long black hair. I see the word Tanzania. I seem to be traveling by bus. Two for $158. I do see a bus going straight in dream and afraid we'll miss it. I want to pay by two different methods, mainly cash, and want to check account to see if funds available on the 25th. I do not have enough money. Okay. Then there is a small room that people are sitting in a circle. This young woman hands this very thick folder, possibly a therapist's documents, to me. Then I go back in the long line. I am cautious, and a girl came by me, thought she took something of mine, but didn't. I remember thinking that I didn't know that going to Tanzania was an option. I don't know how to pronounce it. Tanzania. Okay, so the next dream is book. There is an area that people are gathering for a concert, rock concert. A toddler around the age of 2 or 3 is walking around with an old, large book like the classics at B&N. A guy who looks like my friend, beginning with the letter J, ordered something and gave it to me for free of charge. But then I sneaked out of his house through the garage. Then I see rapid waters coming around the corner. Okay, so the next dream is animals. This guy brought a stack full of animal food over to his friend's place along with kittens and baby white rabbits. A lot of people stopped by his friend's place to visit. Also, my childhood friend began with the letter E, and he resembles the same guy from the entry residence, is walking around not clothed in his living room. Islands. I am shown a map of some islands, possibly Hawaii or Key West, I don't know. A city beginning with the letter L. There is an area with water and boats, even though I do not see any boats. People seem to be waiting to take boats in the afternoon. It reminds me of Angel Island. Another area has a public transportation sign with bus routes on it. Area not familiar. So the words I got was record, sabotage, the ship is sinking, frame, and main. I'm going to circle this one. Okay, so the next dream is happy to see. Another strange dream, a guy who resembles a former talk show host had a pamphlet on a tablet on a table which he turned over. Then a woman is in a large open room, possibly a museum. She is happy to see her friend beginning with the letter N. She was going to get a ride from a couple to do errands. I also see a row of apartments or houses. Area not familiar. Stalker. I do not know why, but last month and this month I seem to be having dreams about large open spaces, museums, or some sort of transportation places. Hardwood floors. I see an empty room with hardwood floors with dust on it. To the side is an area with colored chalk. Fell back asleep. A woman is somewhere and planning to make changes or charge to her cards. Crowd. A woman is standing in a room with a group of people, possibly a hotel. A security guard is in the crowd because of some violence. And during a dream, I had a bad feeling. Then there is an open area for possibly transportation. Reno, Las Vegas, 5:10. Woman is in an area with homeless people with their stuff and grocery carts. She went to a location with a rainforest, possibly Costa Rica. She really didn't do much while she was visiting. Okay. So the next dream is tense. Come on. There we go, tense. A clear, large tent was covering pieces of mahogany furniture. When it started raining, parts of the tent started leaking water into the tent. A cousin of mine, began with the letter M, had a smaller tent with a bed inside. I remember that. This dream anyway, small house. As I was riding the bus, to the right of me, I noticed a black burnt sculpture of a car. I remember pulling the cord to get off the bus to go to a small house. A couple of women were living there. One slightly older and younger one with blonde hair that she wore inside a ponytail. The younger one was sitting on a threadbare couch in the living room. The older woman and I found some coins, so I took them. I was thinking of Florida for some reason. I left their place through the back door. I was wearing overalls as I crossed this small bridge and then fell into some water. I seemed to keep falling into this water. This is kind of strange because as of now, I've been buying, this is 2018, and so I've been buying like overalls for the last 6 months or so. And, rompers or whatever. It might be like a year. So there's kind of no way that I would have known that I'd be wearing overalls. And this is 2018 when I wrote this. Oh, sorry, I should have paused that. But I thought I would be able to get that done quicker, which I didn't. I have to plug you in. Alrighty. Come on. There we go. There. Okay, yeah, sometimes it's a little touchy here. So yeah, I think I wanted to excuse me. Elaborate a little bit. Okay, well, I can't really think of anything else to say. Train tracks. A couple of overweight African American women were walking on gravel at nighttime, maybe close to train tracks. Kitten. In pencil, I wrote down part of my friend's phone number. The writing was overlapping. A young woman is at her messy apartment. She has a black kitten that is sleeping on her head or close to her head. And in the morning, she feeds the kitten. She sees kitten eating food in a dream. Later, she is riding in the back of the car. Professionally dressed. A young woman goes to see two women who are dressed professionally. One has short blonde hair and the other is older, heavyset with dark hair. The young woman seems to be telling them things a little too much about herself and mentions something occurring in a month. Seattle, she later comes back. Las Vegas. Pisces. I am talking to someone in my dream. I hear a young woman's voice like in last dream. I am shown a map of the West Coast and East Coast closer to Tennessee. Ha ha ha. Before this, I see shapes of squares and rectangles. A guy has written something in colored pencil inside the shapes close to the border. Then I see a gray townhouse with white trimming that is close to a body of water, possibly an ocean. I tell someone that I am a Pisces and love water. Then a man has a receipt of something saying May. On August 25th, I received a map in the mail of some volunteer program, and enclosed was a map of the southeastern part of the country. I did not request this map. Okay. Gay. Two guys with dark curly hair meet a woman at a nice restaurant. The guys both use the word gay in a sentence that the woman has never heard the word used. Well, that doesn't make any sense. I received a magazine in the mail, Vogue, September 2008, shortly afterwards, and found an article, Age Appropriate Excerpt. Bonavere and Gay are hopeful that other agencies you may have to look to the evolution Gay and Bonavere have observed. Well, I don't know what the heck that's about. Much different. So next dream, there is a young woman who is really happy or positive. She sees a plane that comes really close to the runway strip. She didn't even see it coming. It was just right in front of her. Then something odd. I see an area with a small beach, almost like an island, but its surroundings are much different. She goes to an older woman who is sitting at a table. Then I am sitting at a desktop, half asleep. I don't remember dreaming last night, but I felt like I was being hounded by a man, not that other woman like before. She was much worse. I recall saying, "How did my bed get over there? I didn't do anything to you." Then I remembered a forgotten dream. I was in a classroom sitting in a chair, and I quit going to my math class. I didn't drop out. Cheyenne is the next one. A young woman is sitting at her desk in possibly a hotel. It reminds me of the hotel I stayed in Colorado. Anyway, she had a card. I can feel it in my dreams. Something was too expensive, and she was planning to go to the next state over, a square state, Cheyenne. Then I recall seeing an older woman who had plants. Okay, so yeah, this year I went to Montana, and I did it like spent the night over in Wyoming. And I think Wyoming is called the cowboy state, but I didn't really care for either of the states. It's not my cup of tea. It's almost like Montana and Wyoming are like the cowboy states in the north when they should be near to Texas. So anyway, yeah, I have no intention of going to Cheyenne. Plus it's expensive. I noticed it's just almost double for hotels there, because I guess I don't know why, but Wyoming was like that, and so was Montana. So the next dream is bus stop. I am at an ethnic woman's place and her daughter. Then I am at a mall at a bus stop with other people. I have had a dream of this mall before. Packed in. An older woman is at the end of a hall with the door open. She is packed into a room with her items, a refrigerator and personal items. I see an elderly woman being pushed in a wheelchair. Who's that? Who's here? Who is it? Direction. This dream isn't that clear. All I remember is a dream as a woman, maybe me, was going north to a small town, population 0 or not many people. She sees an edge of water, possibly Michigan, Milwaukee. She was anxious because she didn't have a place to stay when she arrived in the town. The bus driver or possibly train assistant was wearing a cap. Okay, so now the dreams are going to be September 2018. Snake. I went to a large open space and saw my deceased mother and childhood friend. My mom didn't want me to stay with her. I brought my pillow. A resident living there had some guy help him sell his snake. Saw a tannish, overweight dog. Then my youngest brother mentioned Annapolis, Maryland. I have never been to Maryland. Let's see here. I heard the words, "I won't help you anymore." A woman is waiting for a bus, and then she is with a guy in a wheelchair. Another woman is helping us find our seat like a baseball game. I don't see that many people. Then I am sitting next to an Asian guy looking outside the window like at the public library in M. I take out my laptop. There also is some airport codes that I do not recognize the city. Okay, so wig. There's a woman with short blonde hair with large breasts. Fell back asleep. A guy wearing a black-haired wig for Halloween. Sometimes I question God on why he tells me these things. That's what I put in there. Wrong direction. I was with my high school friend and we took a bus. I remember being at a bus stop. I took a bus in the wrong direction and should be going in the opposite direction of the airport. My friend was upset with me, so I wanted to stay at my other friend's place and his girlfriend's. An apartment became available and quickly grabbed it, not really caring if I made a mistake. Just don't like current living situation. I'm tired of waiting. My friend mentioned at the end of last month that he was parachuting, leaving. Feel it is a mistake. Then I heard someone mention the word parachute on bus. The 10th, when vacancies usually open up. Okay, braids is the next one. Oh, excuse me. In this dream, I vaguely see a young woman with dark brown hair wearing braids. She was at her friend's place and then was contemplating going to her brother's place for the weekend, 27 or 37. There really isn't much to do at where she currently lives. Okay, so the next dream is flooded. Oh, a woman is at a house with a couple of other women. She goes to the basement, which is flooded with blackish water. She didn't know it was flooded and wanted a refund. Okay, so this is September 16, 2018. And a friend of mine, a high school friend of mine, I don't know what year this was. This was like many years ago. The town was flooded and their basement, I know, was flooded in real life. Okay, so the next dream is going to be museum. A young woman is waiting for a bus in a large open area. She goes outside to furniture like museum. I kept falling back asleep off and on with a fly bugging me. Georgia. Black spider. There is a tapeworm that is feeding on other organs surrounding it. Then a young woman is in her empty room killing black spiders. I see an FBI badge of the character Dana Scully from the show X-Files. And the day of September 4th, 2018, a guy in a van split $60, paid $30. When I moved into my new place on Wi-Fi is FBI van 1, abandoned. Okay, so yeah, this place had to be in the upper Midwest that I moved into. So, anyway. Past city. There are two people talking outside of my window in the patio area. I told my youngest brother not to look outside, but he did it anyway. I didn't look. I guess a woman was down and had blood on her. Oh, then I saw an old boyfriend beginning with the letter M. Someone from my past who used to live in Seattle. I mentioned, that's in real life. I mentioned an old guy that used to live there but forgot his name. I also mentioned a woman beginning with the letter T who used to live there. Okay, an old guy that used to live there but forgot his name. I'm not for sure who that was. There was a guy living there, like this is real life, who was in the army. But then there was this other guy, my neighbor, who I used to call Santa because he looked like Santa Claus. And he used to, like, you know, say, come on over. He would offer either a Coke or a Heineken. A can of Coke. He liked Coke or Heineken. And sometimes it kind of depends on what I was in my late 20s, so it kind of depends on what mood I was in. So anyway, yeah, so that's the end of the dream. Water. Such a strange dream of water. This guy and possibly me or someone else was swimming from one island to another. The one guy didn't think he could do it. He started swimming the backstroke. Then a Mexican woman and another woman are sitting in the lawn chairs with a huge wave comes over them. Then children who are dead face down are floating down a river. One woman is holding her child and then can feel it in the dream. Is holding her child that lived. Okay, yeah, I remember this dream. I barely remember many dreams from the Southwest, but this one I vaguely remember. Now that I mention it, yeah. So I'm not gonna swim to another island. I just even when I was in my 20s, I meant there's just no way. So that was kind of weird. But I vaguely remember that it was it was a foreign country and these kids. They were floating down a river, so I don't know what was going on, if there was a hurricane or what was going on, earthquake or something. Neighbor. My neighbor drives me and this other girl somewhere and wants to charge us $75 each. We both thought it was overpriced. He didn't tell us the amount until we got there. Unorganized. It might have been Southwest Transportation. Well, that's too high, but I did have to pay, I think it was like $40, something like that, to go from a small town to like a big city in the Southwest. And I did look around, checked Craigslist, and I put in there for like, transportation, of course, and if it was a guy, I wouldn't really answer it. But this one guy, like, he would drive professionally, and it was like double. It was really kind of expensive. But anyway, sometimes, in case of an emergency, and I don't drive, you have to kind of do what you got to do. Okay, so iPhone is the next dream. We're almost done here. Thank God, right? There were two guys, one younger, possibly on a bus, not sure. A broken iPhone on the floor. I actually did see a small broken mirror on the sidewalk earlier today. A strange name of a city or person's last name, beginning with K or J. I think. It feels like a setup. I see my older brother in dream forewarned another dream of tapeworm. Mountain. The woman who physically resembles a famous singer is still overweight in this dream. People seem to be gathering at an event. That's not funny, but it's funny what I would write that. I'm overweight. I see an off-the-road parking place and mountain to the right of the road that resembles El Capitan at Yosemite National Park. A young 20-something wearing a dress goes under a small waterfall that is sprinkling water. Well, duh. I wonder, I used to write these like in the morning, document them, so I wonder if I'm half asleep or just not even paying attention to what I'm writing, because that's what it kind of looks like anyway, some of these. Well, more than some, actually. Madrid. Oh, I fell asleep and awoke to feeling like a bat was flying over my head. I've been having some really strange dreams that are not like my other dreams. Anyway, it felt like my dreams are from God, not because they are so surreal, but original. This dream leaves off from my previous dream, Mountain, a woman who resembles a famous singer and my all-time favorite musician. For the first time, the original singer was singing when she was in her 20s in the 1970s. Well, what does this have to do with anything? Okay. Then she is with about 4 of her friends, all big bone and heavyset. I recall a younger woman sleeping in a tent or a tent trailer, and possibly other people were sleeping too. It feels like they are sleeping on the ground. Then this young blonde-haired woman with ponytail who is dressed professionally. She is walking through the hallway at her job. I can see the sun shining through the window in this dream. So it's a sunny day, possibly warmer climate, but doesn't feel like desert. She is not making enough money to buy a house or cannot afford $538. Then I vividly see her maneuvering through a website and looking at European countries. She clicks on a country and sees a white building structure. I'm thinking of Madrid, Spain in this dream. So maybe she wants to visit. I'm reading Love in the Time of Cholera by Gabriel Garcia Marquez, and my youngest brother wanted to go to Spain. I also had an eighth grade teacher who was from Spain and would tell the class stories. Yeah, I remember that. There was my eighth grade teacher was from Spain. She was from Madrid, and I remember her talking about, kind of the things you can and can't do there, the things that makes what be offensive. I don't remember it now, but I remember her, and I made me want to go to Spain. And so I think my youngest brother has been to Spain. I can't remember the name of the city. He does he goes with some spiritual church or whatever. So he's been to Israel and Spain, and he's been to China. But he doesn't really sightsee or anything. He just kind of goes and does his whatever. He's with a group usually. Okay, so the last stream is roses. If I can get this to go. Roses. Okay, the similar looking guy from Entry Gay are in the stream again. Then two guys who are not wearing shirts are crashing on a mattress at a guy's house. I see one of the guys walking in his yard, and there's a fenced-in area with a small pond. Then I can sense someone carrying roses in his left hand that he wants to throw in the pond. I remember thinking that I paid for 2 months' rent in full for two people to stay free in my bed. I was going to talk to some guy about it in the morning, but was thinking about just leaving. One of the guys mentioned a strange, possibly foreign city that I cannot remember, but wasn't too thrilled about it. I was thinking about contacting my youngest brother in Dallas. So I don't know how long he was in Dallas. And so, that's the end of the dreams for September 2018. And so thank you for watching. If you've come this far, it's like a miracle. Nobody watches these, not many, to the end. So thank you.